the way we look at life. It's no longer a compartmentalized way where work is work and family is family, but here the two comes together and overlaps. Okay, and I think we can do both at the same time. And this is truly what some people say: instead of work-life balance, let's talk about work-life harmony.
I'm Parkson, a father and grandfather, a relationship coach, and author of The Modern Day Dad.
And I'm Hafiz, a father of 4, a transformational coach, and a dad in progress.
We Are Dads Too is a podcast for fathers by fathers. Each week we have conversations about different aspects of fathering. We will also be talking with experts to get their opinions or have other dads to join us too.
Because we are dads too, we understand the challenges dads face. Our children grow up way too fast, so we say. So we need to take effective action that involves personal and lasting change for our children and also for ourselves. Let's go on a transformational journey together because we are dads too.
Well, Hafiz, we're back again. It's nice to see you.
Yes, Parkson, we are here again to share something which I think is very, very, very important in this new normal.
Yeah, I mean, I think you read the newspaper article where Minister Lawrence Wong said something. He talked about, he was asked whether working from home 100% will be the normal going forward. And he said no. So today we're going to talk about working from home and how, parenting or fathering would look like when we do so.
Yeah, it's been almost a year now that most of us are in this situation where we have really changed the way we work, the place we work, and I don't know how have you coped about on that? I'm sure you also work from home, right? You've been working from home since the beginning.
Oh, yes. Since circuit breaker. In fact, before the circuit breaker kicked in, I was working from home a little bit already. And so it's nothing very new to me, except that this time you're forced to, So when you're forced to do something, of course, it's very different as compared to when you do it willingly and, based on your needs. Yeah. But what I observe is this, before the circuit breaker, before COVID, came to our shores, most people, working people were complaining that they do not have work-life balance in their lives, And so work-life balance was a topic that has been talked about, written about, maybe even researched on. So you read a lot about, people giving different advice about how you can find and achieve work-life balance. But you know what? Even though so many articles have been written on it, so many advice given about it, still no one has really achieved work-life balance. You know what that tells me?
Is there something wrong with the word work-life balance? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, that made me really think about, whether this concept of work-life balance is kind of an elusive thing, or maybe because we call it work-life balance, we kind of expected something out of it, but that something may not be achievable. So maybe we need to relook at it and ask ourselves, okay, maybe not work-life balance, then what is it? But when COVID-19 and circuit breaker came, it kind of forced us into this, what I call a social experiment, and it's unexpected, and we were unprepared for it, but we were forced to. But the good side of it is that I think it is kind of an answered prayer, an answer to our prayers that we've been praying for a long time that, give us, work-life balance. So now we have everything, our time, in a sense, under our own control. All right, we can use the time 24 hours the way we choose to. And so more people are now spending more time at home.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about growth mindset, how we can cope with things that happen in our life, although it seems negative. And this is one of the ways how COVID-19 came to us, and most of us were unprepared. But if we were able to recover and adjust ourselves, right, to the new situation, I believe we can find a lot of blessings. And what happened, I think, before this, Parkson, we did a poll, right? Yeah, so what does the poll actually ask? If you have a choice or preference, would you like to work from home, go back to office, or have both as an option. So what were the results, Parkson?
Well, 75% of the respondents said that they would like to have some flexibility to either work from home or work in the office. And I calculated about 18% said that they would like to work from home. And only the remainder, very few, said they would like to work from the office, meaning, completely out of the office only. And I think that's an indication to me that people have, after all this, nearly a year of working from home or some sort of flexibility, people have adjusted to this new normal. And I think they like it. They like it so much that they would like to continue in this arrangement. In fact, the funny thing is that before this, most companies, who are trying to be family friendly, already have this policy of flexible work arrangements. But for some reason, actually we know the reason, it's not used by the employees of those companies. And what the reason is because there isn't the right conducive company culture, all right? And it starts from the top, all right? So for example, the person at the top, or maybe at the managerial level, they are not even setting the example, or they are sending very subtle messages to their subordinates that, well, if you use this flexible work arrangement, it doesn't look good on you. I will be suspicious of you, and I will think that you are not dedicated to your job, and things like that. And so the people below begin to feel it and says, oh, better not. I better show up at work. I better be in the office and show that I'm busy, I'm hard at work all the time, and even staying late.
Yeah, this poll were asking workers. If we were to ask employers, I think the result would be different. Yeah, and this is, I think that's why our Minister Lawrence Wong said, right, we are probably not ready, and it's not doable to have 100% work from home. I think it's not about 100%, is how each organization is able to have systems in place, the culture in place, which may need time to adjust, but we have already 1 year. There must be some already culture change. For example, now we can do meetings online. Zoom is like we call Zoom meeting like it's any meeting, and we have changed our habits.
That's right.
All right, of doing things, not meeting face to face, but be able to still achieve our goals, be productive, and get things done despite not coming to office. And of course, there were other arrangements. Some organizations, they do 50-50%, and to ensure that safe distancing and so on and so forth. But bottom line, one of the benefits of working from home is that fathers or parents are now meeting their children more often. They see their children going to school, coming back to school. They even there when usually they're at work. However, it comes with other things. For example, you may be at home, even if you were to have an office, dedicated office, all right, which is closed up. There's no stop of your family members coming in and knocking the door and asking for things. And you will also probably get involved with housework, and it's about coming up with a schedule, coming up with some kind of, arrangement, like in the office, right? Again, is that possible? I'm sure we ourselves have the experience. What are the challenges that we face when we work from home? So I think today we want to discuss how does this working from home, all right, in a way affects our role as a father, both positive and negatively, and how we can work around it such that it becomes there be more benefits. We able to reap more benefits, right, from this different arrangement.
Yeah, during the COVID circuit breaker time, there was a survey done by Focus on the Family in Singapore. It's a DATS survey, and one of the questions they asked fathers is, how has this circuit breaker during the COVID-19 pandemic affected your family life? And 72%, nearly 73% of dads said that their involvement with their families actually increased. And 85% of them felt that they connected more with their children during this period. So this circuit breaker thing actually has some benefits, all right? Unintended, unforeseen, but it did happen. And only about a very small percentage said that they actually felt they didn't actually have more time with their kids. And the reason being that these are people who worked in the essential services, and therefore they had to go to work and not work from home. Yeah. So this staying at home thing, as I said, we were thrust into this social experiment to experience for the first time what it was like to really spend more time with our families, and many, many parents enjoyed it. Of course, it's not without challenges, like, some that you mentioned. You cannot just hang the do not disturb sign like in a hotel, do not disturb, all right? There's no such thing. Your kids doesn't know how to read that, and they'll just keep knocking or just open the door and come in. And, you probably have seen it on YouTube where the father is having a Zoom meeting, and then the kid would come, walking into the room, jumping on his lap or something like that. They call it photo bombing, but in this case is video bombing. So I think this is, if you talk about the new normal, I think this is the new normal where the work life and family life merges together. All right, because in the past there was this very clear line between work and family, right? The company wants you completely, and so you have to go to the office, and when you're there, you really have to be there, and you have to be dedicated, you have to be focused, and you have to be almost, non-stop working. Coffee breaks should be as short as possible. Lunch break should not be more than an hour, okay? And then hopefully you can come back or leave the office at a certain time, a fixed time, but usually it doesn't happen. You have to stay a little longer, and really finish up all the work. And then even then, when you come home, you bring work along with you back home.
Yeah, it's about how do you manage, how do you measure the performance of the workers, right? Even though they don't keep to that specific in and out, check-in, check-out time, they are still able to perform and achieve their goals, right? Of course, there's certain work, those things cannot be achieved, right? For in manufacturing, for example, essential workers, for example, services, for example. But the other, probably 80% of work can be done from the office, which can be done from home. Is the other aspect of how do you manage the work such that you do not compromise on the performance. So what would be the things that for dads, right? For dads, as we are talking about dads here, do we look at what are the things that we can look out for, can help us go around manage this situation, such that we can do the work, we can perform, such that we are able to achieve our work goals at the same time, reap the benefit of being at home, and be more connected to our family, share responsibilities with other members of the family, and be more involved as a dad.
Well, I think there are a number of things that fathers can do. I think it starts with the mindset. The mindset is, we've been very used to thinking that, I have my job comes first, even though family is important to most fathers, if not all fathers. But we somehow have been, have this mindset that, when I work, I really have to work. Yes, sometimes, we do need to focus. We need to be free of distractions. And that's why I think Minister Lawrence Wong is right in that sense. Working from home 100% may not be feasible because there are certain tasks. Number one, it depends on the industry you're working in, the kind of service or products you're dealing with. You might have to work out of office. But even if you can work from home, working from home 100% may not be the best thing, may not be totally feasible, because certain tasks, especially as according to research, says that, the mundane type of task is best done in the office, because in the office you have less distraction. You know, when you're doing mundane tasks like, spreadsheets, data gathering or data analysis, these are kind of boring things. And when people get bored, they want to look for distractions. And at home, there are more distractions. In the end, you do not get your work done, all right? Or at least it drags out. So it's better to be done in an office where there are fewer distractions and you finish the work and then you're free to do something else, okay? So at home, I think the first thing that the fathers need to do is the mindset where here is an opportunity for us to change the way we look at life. It's no longer a compartmentalized way where work is work and family is family, but here the two comes together and overlaps, okay? And I think we can do both at the same time. And this is truly what some people say, instead of work-life balance, let's talk about work-life harmony.
That's a very interesting concept, and it reminds me of this particular community. Or in fact, the Japanese in Okinawa, they have this concept they call ikigai, which means reason for being, or even it means what makes you wake up in the morning. Your purpose in life. So you see the Okinawans, they have long life. They are among the, they live up to 100, many of them, higher than many others. And when research was done on the community, they see life as harmonious. And for them, they look at their mission in life. Also, at the same time, it has whatever they do must be passionate. They must be passionate over what they do every day. All right, even if it's their job, the hobby that they do, okay, and they get paid for what they love. At the same time, they do what they love. All right. So this concept of ikigai, I think we can learn something from it. How to harmonize our life by asking these 4 questions. What you love? Yeah. So one is your passion. We ask ourselves, what is our passion? What we love. Second is, what is the mission that we have? And that is the question, what the world needs from us. Whatever we do every day, we must ask, we are serving some people, right? So what do they need from us? And the third is what you can be paid for. So if we are doing some work, we are being paid for it. It must be aligned to our mission and passion. And it must be something you're good at. In other words, your profession. When you're good at something, you be paid for it. And it's how nice you get paid for something that is your mission in life and you're passionate doing it. Well, this is the ideal. Most of us do not have this situation in life. Yeah, precisely. But they have shown, in fact, there's a book, there are many books written on this. There are ways in which we can achieve this harmony by asking those questions and not put ourselves in this box that, for example, I'm an engineer, I'm serving my clients every day, and then this is what I'm good at. I'm good at calculation and mathematics, and then I get paid for it. But if you look at your job as something that you serve people such that that's what they need, when you give what they need, they become happier, you become happier, and then you get paid for it, and you make the world better.
That's right. I think most jobs, especially today, a lot of jobs have become, service kind of jobs, and that is the kind of thing that we, where people go to work to serve others. But not everyone is cut out to do that. If you notice, all right. It's not so. Some do it willingly, some do it very naturally, but some, not so. So some people are just not cut out to do this kind of service work. So what do these people do?
So that is why what I use usually in my coaching of my clients is to ask, what is your life will? All right. In fact, I came up with this life acronym, LIFE. L means labor, your work. I means interrelations, your relationship with other people. F is fitness, your health. And E is what you enjoy, your hobby. So if you were to draw this wheel, imagine that these four are spokes to a bicycle wheel, right? And you have to measure how much you are achieving from each spoke. So if let's say work, you say that I'm at 3 out of 10. Relationship, I'm at 5 out of 10. Fitness, I'm at 6 out of 10. And hobby, maybe I'm at 7 out of 10. So you look that, for example, it is quite imbalanced, right? I mean, you will see that your work and your relationship, right, is a bit unbalanced compared to the others. And it's how do you achieve a more harmonious and balanced aspects of these four aspects of your life. So you need to adjust. You have to question what you're working as now and how does it fit into your, again, ask that question of is it something you love? Is what the world needs? Is it something you can be paid for? Is it what you're good at? And there are many people who, and today especially the younger generation, they are not like our forefathers where they stick to a job for 40 years. My father stick to one job for 43 years. Wow. I myself do not stick to that job that long. At most, 14 years, I was in one particular organization. The rest, I think many of us today, job hop. In fact, the word job hop is no longer a word which is negative. It is a phenomenon. And what more, if you look at the younger generation, they don't believe in working for an organization for an organization's sake.
Loyalty, there's no more loyalty. I mean, it goes both ways. Companies are no longer loyal to their employees, and so maybe employees feel, why should I be loyal to the company if they're not loyal to me in the first place?
Yeah, this is because many people have today needs that not one company can satisfy. I mean, we have, in this modern world, we have so many needs. We want to fulfill as many needs as possible, and there's no one organization. However, if you start from yourself, you understand what your needs are, what are the things that you want to do, and what other people need from you. And once you are able to align this, you are able to come up with the solutions that cannot be provided by other people. Only you yourself can come up with those. And I thought this is a useful framework for anyone to use.
Yes, I think definitely. It's always good to go deep into ourselves, and to ask ourselves some of these questions, because if not, what will likely happen, and it's happening to a lot of people, is something called midlife crisis. And that's where, for example, someone who has been an accountant for 30 years reaches that certain age where midlife crisis happens, and they begin to ask themselves, I'm sure I'm more than this. I'm more than an accountant. You know what I mean? All right. And then they start to search, and the people use the phrase, I'm trying to discover myself and things like that. Now, this is definitely necessary. It's not some, airy fairy thing. It's real, because sometimes we focus too much on our educational qualification. We forget who we really are. Okay. I mean, I went to study engineering, but I wasn't meant to be an engineer. Although I did enjoy it for a while, but I eventually found out that I wasn't meant to be an engineer. So I guess we all need to discover ourselves. But you see, the problem with men is this, and I speak about myself, that our identity is so closely tied to our jobs, because our jobs are not just gives us, something to occupy our minds and our time, but it gives us a sense of identity. It gives us a sense of accomplishment, and if we do well, we get rewarded, we get praised. And if a man is a father, through this job, he's able to bring money home, all right, to support the family. And as a provider of the family, he is already playing quite a major role of fathering. And so for a lot of men, and fathers especially, they don't feel that work-life conflict as much as mothers, all right? Because for mothers, earning money is more like, this is a second income, all right? The men are supposed to be the primary breadwinners. Well, that's changing, but still, most people think that way, that, the man is supposed to be a primary breadwinner, and if the mother works, if the wife works, it's more like a supplementary income. So for fathers, when they work, fathers do talk about dad guilt, just like mom guilt. but not as much, and not as they probably don't feel it as much as women do.
Yeah, I don't like the word guilt actually. Yeah, there are opportunities, but these are psychological conditions, right? People tend to see the what is half empty other than half full. So let's look at go back to the topic. If a father is at home, he's trying to manage work at the same time, see what are the opportunities that he has to play a better role as a dad, as a husband. So, what are the tips that we can, from your experience, this 1 year, we can share with others?
Well, I think it will vary depending on the age of the children. For example, infant and toddler. I'm just became a grandfather about 5 months ago. So I have a grandson. Thank you. My grandson is just 5 months old. And in the first 5 months, my wife and I would help our daughter and son-in-law to take care of their little child while they are working from home. Okay, and so that's one thing parents can do, and is to enlist the help of extended family, not just grandparents. I'm talking about extended family. So it could be a sibling, it could be an auntie, an uncle, whoever. So extended family is very important, and it's something that actually we are losing. It's kind of not valued as much. We only talk about extended family, or we see our extended family maybe once a year, for example, during Chinese New Year. Okay, but we need to maintain that relationship of extended families. So that's one way. And then for older kids, like once they start to go to school, so you have this period of time, let's say in the morning, okay, where the child is at school. So if I am working from home, then that period of time is basically all mine. So whenever possible, I'll try to plan my day where all my meetings and the real important stuff that I need to get done, I will try to do it within that time, so that when my child comes home, maybe 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, then that's where I will be, have to kind of divide, in computer terms, time sharing. All right, 10 minutes trying to answer an email or write an email, and then 10 minutes helping my child with his homework, just looking at him and checking whether he needs my help or not, and then 10 minutes. So I can imagine sitting everyone in the family, whoever has something to do, myself, my kids, all right, if they're doing their homework, they'll be sitting at the dinner table. I will be sitting with them with my laptop in front of me. So everyone is at one place, so that we can kind of, so-called multitask or time sharing. And anytime my child needs me, he would just come to me, and I would take about 2 to 5 minutes just to help him out, and so on and so forth. So that's where I was talking about, work and life, our family life coming together, emerging, and now there's harmony, not necessarily balance, but at least harmony.
To having some schedule, to having some discipline, to having some way in which we manage our work, our daily life, like what we do in the office. I think having daily practices or habits of listing down what you need to achieve for the day and ticking off. It sounds idealistic. Sometimes you cannot tick off everything. Then learn. Don't put too many things on the on the paper. So that's what I do. I usually have my post-it pads, all right, several, and I will just list the things that I need to do for the day, and at least I not only achieve what I've aimed for, but I feel happy having achieved those things. And this is very, very important in us wanting to have this harmonious life. For example, we start the week knowing what are the big things that we need to achieve for the week. All right, then break it down to the daily things. And at the end of the week, we can enjoy the weekend. All right, and not having so many things on our mind, having not done this, not done that, having our bosses, calling us and telling us we're not done this and that. But this is an ideal. my own experience is not as simple. I can start the day and I get interrupted, and have to delay certain work and so on and so forth. But I think we have to work out some kind of balance. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And I think companies can help. Definitely, companies also needs to make some adjustments in their thinking as well as in their practices. For example, I mentioned about Zoom meetings. For example, if a worker employee is working from home and his child is at home at the same time, let's be okay with the child jumping on the father's lap and so-called interrupting the meeting and things like that. I think it's a good. The positive side of this is it humanizes all of us. You see, humanizes, and it reminds everyone, hey, we all have a family, and we need not to forget them and not to neglect them, and we should just be celebrating, that all of us have our families with us, and the reason why we are working so hard is also for them. All right. But I think to compartmentalize and to really segregate them may not be the best thing. We've lived that, we have experienced that, and I guess we have suffered from it. So now is a good time to make that change. In fact, I think there was this article in Harvard Business Review, that says that the COVID-19 pandemic has eroded the ideal worker model. The ideal worker is one who sacrifices his family and self on the altar of dedication to work and company. So this is a good time. It is. It is a religion, where we get rewarded by the higher ups, the power on high, And it says, if there was ever a time to put to rest the old-fashioned notion of the ideal worker, it is now. Post-pandemic, let's resculpt the workplace ideals so that they reflect people's lives today, not half a century ago. I thought that was really very true and very profound. It's a challenge. It's radical. It's a challenge. And I think we should take up this challenge, because if we just let it pass and if we just say, let's go back to the way things were, I think we will all kick ourselves in the butt, and says, what a waste. I mean, we could have changed the way we live, the way we do things, but we didn't, we just wanted to go back to the way it was.
That's only natural. I think we humans, when we are comfortable in doing things that we have been doing, it's so difficult to change. I can tell you that what you have said just now, the research findings, is nothing new. I remember even before the pandemic, digitalization was a big thing for many, many years. There are companies who have adjusted and transformed the way they work through digitalizing most of their the way they work and how they work. Is how now we have to catch up. At the same time, realize that another crisis may just come again, and crisis won't wait for you. And I remember also this acronym, VUCA, the VUCA world. It's actually a very interesting acronym, concept, which will actually came up by the Navy SEALs, in how they deal with uncertainties, the world, and how they respond to it. So VUCA actually means V is volatility, U uncertainty, C complexity, and A ambiguity. This describes everything about the world today.
Exactly.
And this came many, many years before the pandemic. And what we have to do, and we have to have that mindset. For example, if something's so volatile, I mean, not only the markets are volatile today, but sometimes what we do daily, the needs that we have, the services that we sometimes require outside there may not come at this time that we want, and so on and so forth. So our plans may change. Our response should be to have a vision, V also, to have a longer vision of things. Don't just look at the changes that are happening today. Look at what's going to happen in 1-2 years' time after this pandemic. As for uncertainty, we need to understand why this pandemic is happening, what we can do to respond, and what are the opportunities out there that we can see to overcome. Learn from other organizations, learn from other families, learn from other dads who have gone through this and managed to not only survive but thrive. Okay, and the complexity that we are facing today. Okay, we need to have clarity over all this so-called confusion. All right, so complex. When we talk about today, I was just trying to manage my Instagram, and somehow I find it so difficult. But when I ask my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter, she will just press tit, 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 and within seconds, done. Ayah, no, please do it slowly so that I can follow you. To us, it's complex, but to them, it's it's a daily thing that they do. All right, so I need to get her to clarify the steps, how to get things done. And last is ambiguity, and I think this is what we are talking about today. How we address or handle ambiguity is being agile. Also agile. And we need to be agile in how we see ourselves as an employee, as a dad, as a husband. Don't have that old mindset of things, and we're not wanting to change the habits that we have spoken, that we were speaking a lot in this particular podcast, how we can change our long-time habits. Because we believe this podcast, we want to share tips. At the same time, we want to take action, how we can use those tips and be able to change what we have been so used to.
Wow, time has really caught up with us. Yep, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. I think we have really, tried to be as practical as possible. So I guess till the next time.
Yeah, definitely. This is a hot topic today, and it'll be a hot topic still. We can always pick it up, all right, on later episodes. But if you have your some ideas, feedback, and share what you have in our social media platforms, and we will catch them up and we will pick them up and then discuss it during our future podcast.
Yes, we will. Well, till the next time, this is We Are Dads Too saying
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Iman Catalyst Community, which is missioned to elevate hope by transforming lives through social education initiatives as well as personal development programs. We are the medium that come in between NGOs and their beneficiaries to enhance their sustainability and impact. We support them by giving training, coaching, and enhancing collaboration between the public, private, and people sectors. If you'd like to know more, connect, and collaborate with us, you can reach us at Facebook and Instagram at Iman Catalyst. That's spelled EMAAN, and we would like to work and partner with you.
Thank you so much for tuning to this week's conversation. We hope that this episode helped you in your transformational journey as dads. If you like this podcast, make sure you review, follow, and share it with your friends. For more episodes and resources on fathering, check us out at We Are Dads Too on Facebook and Instagram.
We would also like to hear your comments and questions, so please feel free to share them on our FB and IG pages and also our Twitter, and be connected to other dads too. Until next time, let's take the next step to be the special dad we are meant to be. Take care and stay safe.